Welcome back. The African National Congress Youth League concluded its long-awaited 26th National Congress in Johannesburg over the weekend. Going into the conference, the event was marred by allegations of manipulation of delegates, branch auditing challenges, and claims of interference by the ANC's senior members in the hotly contested Congress. The Youth League had not convened a conference or even elected its leadership since 2015 due to infighting. The current ANC Member of Parliament, Collen Malatji, was elected unopposed by more than 1,900 branches as the League's president, and he joins us now in studio to talk more about the ANC Youth League's future and their 26th National Congress. Collen, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you for the invite. Good morning.
Well, I guess congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
So it's taken 8 years for the ANC Youth League to conduct its own Congress and elect its new leaderships. And you went to the conference this past weekend with people uncertain whether it will happen or not, because 8 years is a very, very long time for a Youth League not to have a leadership structure. So what are your opinions on how it went?
Look, the conference had its own challenges. We delayed the registration point. There were big provinces that affected, that caused a delay because of pre-registration. Most of our provinces, about 7 of them, did pre-registration before they came to conference. That's why it was easy for them to just register and go to conference. But the 2 provinces, Eastern Cape and KZN, were not able to do their pre-registration. And that's what caused the delay at the registration point. But apart from those challenges, everything went well of the conference. It was just delayed by a day. We continued the work that we were doing.
Okay. You're also a member of Parliament for the ANC. Does this then fall away?
Yes, look, the Youth League needs its president to be in office. There's a lot of challenges that are facing the youth in South Africa. Now, obviously, I've not deployed myself to the Parliament. I'm deployed by the ruling party. They'll tell me when best for me to be released from Parliament. Okay.
And in terms of taking guidance from the ruling party, the ruling party has been widely accused of turning its back on, the socio-economic issues affecting the young people. So in terms of you taking instructions from the mother body, so then the same issues will still go on, isn't it?
No, the instructions are talking about the deployment to Parliament. Remember, the ANC Youth League doesn't contest elections. It's the ANC that contests elections and deploys its members to Parliament. I'm deployed to Parliament not as the leader of the Youth League, but as a member of the ANC. That's a different issue. But when it comes to policy positions, the Youth League is a board of opinion on the ANC. From a conference, we've taken a lot of policy positions that can assist the ANC and everyone in South Africa to address all socio-economic challenges.
Then in terms of, the lessons that you've learned over the past weekend at the conference, what are some of the lessons that you're taking from the conference that will guide your leadership in terms of steering the ship in the right direction?
Look, young people are starting to become impatient, whether in the ANC or outside the ANC.
And understandably
on the high level of high unemployment, high level of inequality in South Africa. That's why we're coming up with solutions as the Youth League. We're saying, no, part of the things that we need to do, we need to revive the secondary industries. We must reindustrialize, because use industrialization to create opportunities for the youth. Chimistin, for example, I always make this example. It used to be the industrial hub of Africa. But you go now, it becoming a ghost town, because factories are closing down and small businesses are closing down. It's becoming too expensive also to make business in South Africa because of the energy security. Now, those are things that we want to address. We said part of the resolutions that we've sponsored is that a lot of our raw materials must not be exported to assist other economies to grow, while where they are from, this high level of unemployment, they must be they must remain in the country.
But how are you going to address those issues? I mean, you mentioned the reindustrialization of some of our towns. How are you going to do that? Because the ANC failed dismally. What is it that you're doing differently?
Look, the ANC knows at this point that it doesn't address the issue of high level of unemployment. It's a ticking bomb from this country. Now, there's no way that any party or anyone cannot want that issue to be addressed. We're coming with solutions to them, or lobbying them. We're also going to the NEC of the ANC this weekend to lobby them, so that enough is enough. Now it's time that we radically move to make sure that we put our people first, South Africa.
And how are you hoping that you'll be able to implement all that after having lobbied the ANC, which has failed?
Look, I don't think the ANC has totally failed. I think the most important thing is to make sure that those resolutions are implemented. Look, we've got a lot of resolutions. The formation of a mining company that is going to benefit majority of the people of South Africa. For the of resolution to make sure that we empower, we fix and restructure our economy to benefit the majority. The issue now is implementation. That's why we must put in a monitoring system to make sure that those things are well resolved.
Yeah. You know, the former ANC Youth League has been heavily criticized for focusing on the mother body, the ANC's, infighting and political ructions within that party, and turning their backs on the plight of the young people and the issues affecting young people in South Africa. So what kind of resolutions have you come up at the conference that will see to it that the Youth League sticks to its mandate of taking care of all the youth issues in South Africa?
Part of the things that we've acknowledged as part of the renewal program in the ANC Youth League is that the first thing that we need to do as a structure is to unite the ANC. Because a divided ANC can resolve South African problems. Yeah. Now, if we are serious about resolving South African problems, we need a united, focused ANC that will make sure that all socio-economic problems are resolved. No one will follow a political party that is divided. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not going into this program to divide the ANC. We're coming in with solutions to unite them so that the ANC is focused on the program to make sure all socio-economic challenges are resolved.
We cannot look at the African National Youth Congress Youth League without looking at the ANC, without making those comparisons. I mean, you mentioned Renewal, you mentioned, renewing the party. The ANC has been doing that. It's still failing to do that. The cracks are still wide. So how are you hoping that you will see to it that the party is renewed?
Look, the damage is too deep. Of high level of discipline, allowing people who are charged to be part of structures of organization. We've set up systems. There's integrity commission in the ANC. I can tell you now, no one in the ANC now who's charged of corruption or any other charges is an active leader of the ANC, a member of the ANC. We've requested all of them to step aside. It's a part of the process of cleaning the house, because we've taken a position that everyone must leave. If you are 30, go and clean yourself up and come back to the ANC, because the ANC can no longer be a hub of people who are associated with wrong things in society. Mm-hmm. Now, that is part of our program of renewal. Now, we come also to say that another issue that we must reinforce is discipline, because there is no organization that can exist without discipline. The ANC is an old organization. It's an over 100 years organization. Now, it has survived because it is able to instill discipline. Now, the moment everyone does the way they want in an organization, I can tell you now the ANC will cease to exist.
Yeah. And we've been asking our viewers about whether they think that the Youth League is still relevant. And I'm sure you can imagine how negative the commentary was in terms of the relevance of the ANC Youth League. Do you think it's still relevant?
It has been 8 years without a strong voice of the Youth League in society. Mm-hmm. That vacuum, we can't take it for granted. That's why we always say we have a bigger responsibility to regain the confidence of the youth of South Africa. Because we've not been there in the space. There's a lot of things that have been affecting the youth. The Youth League has not been there. Now we have a big responsibility to make sure that we're present. That's why today the Banyana issue, we're putting it on top of our agenda. It will be at OR Tambo to welcome them back and making sure that we push the struggle. Because we feel that FIFA is mistreating Banyana. And we are a voice to say what we represent. That is our constituency. They've called upon they need to be fired. If it does not resolve that, we'll support that call. If it does not resolve the issue of Banyana and teach them with equality, yes, they must go. He must go. Because Banyana as equal as Bafana. Anyway, they perform way better than Bafana. Now they must be paid more than them if possible.
Yeah. Now, upon delivering the League's political overview this past weekend, the former League's Youth Task Team Deputy Convener Fasiha Hassan said that the ANC Youth League must be vocal about establishing a BRICS Youth Secretariat. That will see to it that the mandate of the trading bloc, affects, or rather, it benefits all young people in South Africa. Just take us through that kind of resolution. Look, and how you will see to it that it's implemented.
It's a very good resolution. Because young people of BRICS must be the full participant of all the economic activities and trades that the BRICS come with. It can't be a platform of only the old. When the biggest affected are young people, there's a high level of unemployment that Africa affects the youth. Yeah. Now we must be asked to take those decisions. And we're going to make sure that it's done. We're going to have a desk in our office that deals also international relations and economic transformation, and mainly focus research on those issues.
Yeah. Now, Collen, you're also the former president of COSAS, yeah? What's the Youth League's role in building structures within student organizations and assisting students facing financial challenges?
Look, we have a strong view that every young person who qualifies for any qualification on to, whether it's in a TVET college, technical skills, whereas is in university, they must be given opportunity to study until their first qualification. It must be a right in this country. It must not be an issue where they must prove how poor they are before they access. It must be something that is given to them to do. And we must reskill everyone, because our skills must reflect our economic activities. If our skills don't reflect that, then we'll have qualifications that don't respond to the economic demands.
And how will the League also make sure that young people participate in, in South Africa's foreign discussions, or foreign investment discussions and foreign policy discussions?
Look, that platform Briggs have created will create many other platforms for that. The trade issues must affect young people on a day-to-day basis. Now, we'll make sure the platform is created. We'll engage all stakeholders involved, because there's already youth who are in that space. Sometimes you might not have to create new things. You might have to go to them and say that what is affecting you? Why are you not moving at a pace and that you're supposed to move in? Because there's a lot of red tapes that have been created that makes it impossible for everyone else to create that space. Now, our job is to remove the red tapes and allow the youth to be able to participate in that spaces.
And what's the level of engagement between the ANC Youth League and the mother body, the ANC?
Look, we engage them all the time. We've got platforms for that. Myself and the SG of the Youth League sits in the ANC of the ANC. There's the whole class where we send delegations to. In conferences of the ANC, we also have a delegation, even voting rights to decide who leads the ANC. We even influence policy of the ANC. We have that kind of relationship. That's why the Youth League becomes a body of opinion in the ANC and outside the ANC.
And how much influence does the ANC yield on the Youth League?
Doesn't have much influence on the ANC Youth League. We influence the ANC.
How so? How do you influence the ANC?
That's why we're saying we're a body of opinion. We take policy decisions, we influence the ANC postures. Many policy postures of the ANC, if you can check, from the formation of the Youth League until date, were highly influenced by the ANC Youth League.
Because I'm asking this question because, the previous leadership was heavily criticized for having taken instructions from the mother body in terms of running the Youth League. So how will you make sure that you are a standalone body?
Look, we're not a standalone body. We're a body of opinion of the ANC Youth League, of the ANC. We're a league of the ANC. We play a very influential role on the policy positions of the ANC. You speak about economic transformation, speak about the second phase of transition. Those are the resolution of the ANC Youth League, influencing the ANC. Currently, we're trying to influence that even in all corridors of power of the ANC, the Youth League becomes a dominant factor in it. Young people are taken to parliament. They're going to national elections now. We're pushing that at least 50% of representation in legislature and parliament are young people. Those are roles that we play to make sure that the youth of the voice is heard in the ANC. And what role will the Youth League be playing in terms of campaigning for next year's elections? We'll be playing a very big role. Okay. We're energized and ready to make sure that ANC has got an overwhelming majority, because failure to do that, any other party that will come in place will reverse the gains of freedom. All right, Collen Malatji, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much. All right, that was Collen Malatji, the newly elected ANC Youth League's president, talking more about the ANC Youth League's future and the outcomes of their 26th National Congress.